Okay, so I have been down this rabbit hole for like 2 weeks now, and I kept seeing this term, the AI bubble, and I was honestly kind of dismissing it like, okay, whatever. People said the same thing about the internet in 1999, but then I actually started looking at the numbers, and the numbers are not that great. Like, here's one MIT put out research saying that 95% of the companies investing in AI are getting zero measurable return on it. And OpenAI, the most hyped company in the world right now, they are projected to lose $74 billion dollars in a single year by 2028. So, I want to actually dig into this today. Is there a real AI bubble? And what happens to companies if money dries up? Do they literally just shut down? Let me show you. Alright, so first, what do people actually mean when they say bubble? A bubble is basically when money flows into something way faster than actual real value is being created. Everyone is excited, valuations goes crazy, and then at some point reality kicks in and it corrects. The classic example is .com in late 90s. Companies with no revenue, no product, just a .com in their name were worth billions of dollars, and then in 2000 it all came crashing down. Now, here's where AI gets interesting and honestly kind of strange. OpenAI has committed to spending $1.4 trillion dollars over 8 years building data centers and infrastructure. Their current revenue is about 13 billion. The gap between those two numbers is being filled by the debt and investors' money. But here's the part that really got me. A lot of that investment money isn't the real money in the traditional sense. Microsoft invests in OpenAI, but they invest using cloud computing credits. Amazon does the same thing with the Anthropic. So these companies are kind of paying to each other and then counting that as revenue to justify their valuation. One analyst described this whole structure as a closed loop where the entire system is basically leveraged on itself. Okay, this is the question I know you are actually here for. If the bubble bursts, do OpenAI and Anthropic just turn off? Do we lose access to ChatGPT and Claude? Short answer is probably not over time. Let me break down where each of them stands. OpenAI. Analysts have estimated that at its current burn rate, OpenAI cash could potentially run dry by mid 2027 if they don't raise the money. Now, that doesn't mean it will shut down. It means they need to either raise more money, cut hard, or find a buyer. Microsoft is most obvious one, they are already deeply embedded. But the more likely scenario before any of that is slower model releases, quieter product rollouts, and maybe some layoffs. Now, Anthropic. This is actually where the story gets more interesting. Their revenue grew from $87 million dollars to $7 billion dollars annualized in under 2 years. That's not a typo. And in late 2025, they raised $15 billion dollars and hit $350 billion dollars valuation. So, in terms of are they shutting down tomorrow? No. Anthropic looks pretty solid right now. But here's the catch with both companies, they are still spending more than they are making, and that only works for as long as investor believes the payoff is coming. If big companies keep buying AI tools but not actually using them, which remember 95% of them are actually getting the zero return at some point, so investors stop believing and that's when it's get real. I want to come back to the .com comparison for a second because I think people use it in a wrong way. Everyone says, "Oh, this is just like a .com and it's all going to crash." But that's not actually what happened with the .com. The internet was real, email was real, online shopping was real. What wasn't real was the idea that every random company slapping .com on their name was worth a billions of dollars. The technology survived, but most of the companies did not. And here's the Nvidia story. Nvidia went public in 1999 and right at the peak of the hype, stock crashed like everything else when the bubble burst. Most people wrote them off. Fast forward to 2025, Nvidia becomes the first company in history to hit $5 trillion dollars in market cap. So, the lesson isn't bubble mean the technology is fake. The lesson is most of the companies betting on the technology won't make it. But once that do, they end up running the world. Alright, so what do people who actually study this stuff think happens next? There are basically three scenarios that keep coming. Scenario 1 is the soft landing. Investment slows, smaller AI companies that never had a real business model die off, but the big players like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, DeepMind, they will consolidate and survive. This is probably the most likely one. Scenario 2, dot-com style correction. Valuation collapse across the board, a lot of pain in the short term, but two or three companies come out the other side even stronger and basically own the next decade of tech. Scenario 3, and this is the scary one, contagion. If major AI company fails, the write downs don't just stay in AI. They ripple through Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, all the big companies that have bet massive money on AI infrastructure. Some analysts have compared the risk to 2008, where everyone's balance sheets were so tangled up together that one thing failing became everyone's problem. Now, am I saying scenario 3 is definitely happening? No. I'm just saying it's in the conversation, and people who understand this stuff are worried about it. Okay, so after going through all of this, here's honestly where I'm at right now. I think AI bubble is real in the financial sense. There's more money flowing into this than the credit results can justify. And some kind of correction is probably coming. But I also think the technology is generally real. Like I use it, you probably use it. It's actually useful. The companies that figure out how to make AI actually useful for everyday people, not just impressive in demos, those companies will make it. And ones that are just burning money hoping adoption catches up, a lot of them are going to be gone in 5 years. So will OpenAI and Anthropic just shut down? Probably not in the near future. They are too big and too embedded. They are actually growing fast. But will this whole space go through a painful correction? Yes, I think it probably will. Anyway, everything I showed you today came from the real reporting, and I am not making any of this up. I am literally just reading the whole what analysts and journalists have written. If you found this useful, share it with someone who's been talking about this whole AI bubble and drop a comment. Do you think the bubble is real or do you think it will burst? I'll catch you in the next one.